An unexpected major explosive volcanic eruption began this morning in Ethiopia, generating one of the largest eruptions the entire African continent has seen during the last century. This new eruption seemingly began at around 8:40 a.m. local time within the African equivalent of Death Valley, the below sea level Danakil Depression, specifically at the Haile Gubi volcano, which until now did not have a single known historical eruption. A powerful explosion occurred as molten rock broke through the surface, giving way to a towering and continuous eruption plume that reached upwards to a height of 14 kilometers or approximately 46,000 feet. Yet, as this eruption plume drifted to the east, it expanded in size to cover an area the size of Portugal, causing the eruption plume in spots to rise even higher to as much as 20 kilometers or about 65,600 feet. At this point, it had been multiple hours and no volcanic ash advisory had been issued, so I physically contacted the relevant center and told them about the eruption. As a result, they finally put out the relevant warning, including me as a source of information in the relevant alert. Going out of my way to do this may have saved lives. Yet, due to the large volumes of erupted material which were too dense to rise on the buoyant column of hot air in the eruption plume, volcanic material collapsed back to the ground, generating a series of pyroclastic flows which preferentially flowed northwards at high speeds due to the summit topography of the Haile Gubi volcano. While it is difficult to see exactly how far these pyroclastic flows scorched away from its summit, early indications suggest at least 6 kilometers or 3.7 miles in some spots, and I have geolocated a potential area of 14.2 square kilometers or 5.5 square miles that may have been reached. Thankfully, no one lives on the relevant patch of barren lava rock volcanic landscape, but I am concerned if there were any tourists in the area. You see, Erta Ale, the volcano to the north, has been a popular local volcano for tourists to visit, so I am hoping that there weren't any tour groups there when the eruption happened. Ash is still actively falling on some nearby communities and is falling at such a high rate that visibility is under 30 meters in some spots. I immediately recommend anyone in those areas to put on an anti-particulate mask if they have one. Based on my current analysis of the data, it appears that around 330,000 metric tons of sulfur dioxide was produced, which would translate based on the suspected lava type expelled to a volume of 0.08 to 0.14 cubic kilometers of tephra, meaning this eruption is most likely a high-end VEI3 or a low-end VEI4 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index. The eruption was not one continuous explosion, but rather multiple larger explosions with somewhat weaker continuous ash emissions between them. While today's eruption was somewhat unexpected, it did not completely come out of the blue. You see, the Erta Ale Shield volcano to the north had contained one of the world's longest-lasting lava lakes, existing for more than 60 years continuously, meaning the volcano was always erupting during that time span. Yet, in early July 2025, something changed as large volumes of magma drained away to the south-southeast, causing its two lava lake-containing summit craters to collapse downwards by multiple hundred feet. A brief flank eruption then followed, with cracks forming in the ground and gas venting out of it above where the implied magma intrusion was, stretching nearly 40 kilometers to the south-southeast. While nothing immediately came of that, it caused notably increased gas emissions and even higher temperatures to be recorded above the main vent of the Haile Gubi volcano. These gas emissions repeatedly appeared and disappeared, and in hindsight I do not think this was solely due to the aforementioned basaltic magma dike. I interpret that during the last 4.5 months that this basalt magma had encountered a pre-existing but previously unknown shallow trachyte magma body. The two mixed, decreasing the viscosity of the resulting product when compared to the original trachyte, building in pressure until it finally was released upwards in a major explosive eruption. This eruption may very well give way to a lengthy lava flow of some sort and could easily continue for weeks or even months, although this is not a certainty. Stay tuned for more updates and please stay safe.